Force Bombardier's 2nd Lieutenant Thomas V. Kelly Jr., accounted for September 25, 2024. 81 years after he died in battle, Tommy laid to rest next to his parents and sister.
He's coming to where he should be.
Found and finally at peace. Aaron Gilchrist, NBC News, Livermore, California.
And that is NBC Nightly News for this Monday. Thank you for watching. I'm Lester Holt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving it.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
New tax cuts, more defense dollars, and tighter rules for Medicaid. I'm Nevaeh Anderson with Guam leaders weighing in on what President Trump's big, beautiful bill could mean for our island coming up.
With the future of federal food aid hanging in the balance, local lawmakers consider expanding access to prepared meals for some of the island's most vulnerable residents. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with more from the first day of session.
And an internal affairs investigation and a criminal investigation into a Guam police officer making prank calls to a precinct has been forwarded to the Attorney General's office.
Good evening, Guam. Hafa I'm Jason Salas. Welcome to the live stream. This is KUAM News Primetime, and these are tonight's top stories. Well, the House of Representatives tonight has passed President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a massive Republican-led piece of legislation permanently extending certain tax cuts, slashing federal spending, and pouring billions into additional defense spending. Diving further into the bill, Adelup says it could have major impacts here at home, as Nevaeh Anderson explains in tonight's top story.
Passing by a single vote in the House of Representatives and spanning more than 1,000 pages, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act would permanently extend the 2017 tax cuts and allocate billions for defense, including Donald Trump's proposed Golden Dome missile defense system and more funding for the country's southern border wall. But these sweeping changes come with significant trade-offs to fund them, slashing spending in key social programs like SNAP, Medicaid, and other safety nets. Acting Governor Josh Tenorio says this measure can only result in instability for Guam's families.
If the bill gets enacted into law as is, we're going to see some of the most vulnerable people on the island get hurt the most. Our philosophy in Guam and in our government is to make sure that when people need a helping hand, that it's there, especially when it comes to food, sustenance, and healthcare. They're so critical for people to live a life here on the island.
The bill also proposes deep cuts to Medicaid, a program that is vital for thousands of island residents. In addition, it will require eligibility checks, community engagement rules, and a minimum of 80 hours per month work requirements for able-bodied recipients without children under 7 years old.
We already suffer from having a shortage of specialty care. You know, we're living in isolated are necessary for people to be able to survive on the island.
As reported by KUAM, Department of Public Health Director Teresa Arreola says Guam will not be impacted by this bill. And in a release today, Congressman Moylan confirms that at this point, Guam will not have to participate in these checks or requirements. At the same time, the bill's allocation of $150 billion in additional defense spending could intensify Guam's housing crisis. More money spent on defense could mean more base buildup, more troops and families moving to Guam, driving up demand and prices in an already scarce housing market. Tenorio says Adelup has already begun taking action by meeting with Congressman James Moylan and Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz in Washington.
Congressman Moylan, from the get-go, when the president dropped the budget, was able to indicate and has taken a position that he's very concerned with the kind of cuts that are being expected. What we are disabled with is we don't have voting representation in the U.S. Senate. So I thought it was very important for me to talk to Senator Schatz, and traditionally the Hawaii senators have taken us under their wing.
Meanwhile, Tenorio also says Guam's Republican senators have been reaching out to their stateside counterparts to voice Guam's concerns. And he's optimistic that wiser minds in the Senate will recognize these critical hits to life in the land of the free.
Issues like this are bipartisan, and all of us need to pitch in and a hand in order to help everybody.
The bill now moves to the U.S. Senate, where its future and its impact on Guam remain up in the air. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
All right, Nevaeh, thanks so much. Well, as Congress debates possible cuts to the nation's largest food assistance program, local lawmakers are weighing a bill to expand how the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program's benefits can be used locally. That proposed legislation would allow eligible residents to use their SNAP benefits at participating restaurants. But as Mitsuki Hirayama now reports, not everyone is convinced it's the right time to take on new spending.
As Congress considers deep cuts to SNAP, Guam lawmakers are deciding whether to move in the opposite direction by expanding it. The Meals for At-Risk Households Act of 2025, introduced by Senator Shelley Calvo, would launch a restaurant meals program, allowing elderly, disabled, and homeless SNAP recipients to use their EBT cards to buy prepared meals at participating restaurants.
I firmly believe that no one in our community should go hungry, especially those most at risk. Food insecurity is not just about hunger. It's about health, dignity, and the ability to live a full and meaningful life.
Guam receives 100% of SNAP benefit dollars from the federal government, more than $179 million in 2023. But with House Republicans pushing to trim federal nutrition spending, some senators say this may not be the moment to expand.
This body is going to have the arduous task after basically 7 years of prosperity and appropriations abound to now once again refocus and identify what are our true priorities.
Some support the bill's intent, a lifeline for those who can't cook or store food.
It's forward thinking. It's something that we should all consider and support, and hopefully that it gives a hand up. It helps folks.
Others are cautious about the program's unclear price tag and unidentified funding source.
I wanted to see it succeed, but I also wanted to build it on solid ground.
Restaurants would have to meet strict qualifications like offering discounted meals and maintaining health standards. If passed, the program could launch as early as January 2026, but only with federal approval. With the future of SNAP and other federal programs hanging in the balance, Finance and Government Operations Oversight Chair Senator Chris Duenas is urging local leaders to plan carefully.
And it's going to require one big, beautiful collaboration from this body, from the governor's office, from everyone, to craft a budget that is going to be able to sustain our people going forward.
Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
In other island news headlines this evening, Congressman Delegate James Moylan is pushing for stronger support of Guam's 360-degree missile defense system following a new report from the Government Accountability Office. The GAO found that $8 billion Guam defense system still lacks key planning elements like clear troop count and long-term construction strategy. Now, in response, the delegate submitted report language to Congress urging the DoD to address the gaps. And by way of a release, he says, quote, "The safety and security of our island remains one of my top priorities." He's likewise working with GPA to ensure the island's energy needs are met as the military buildup continues, adding, "By working together, we can identify potential partnerships between the DoD and GPA that will benefit residents both inside and outside the fence." To the crime scene now. A Guam police officer is at the center of a pair of serious investigations, one internal, the other a criminal matter. Sources confirmed to KUAM News that the officer made several prank calls to a precinct, including one just last month, but that's only part of the story. Now, the same officer is also among a group of officers who were allegedly playing cards while on duty at a precinct, a separate allegation under investigation by GPD, as we did previously report. Now, GPD spokesman Norman Analista says that Chief of Police Steven Ignacio has known about the complaint since early April, and the IA probe has wrapped and is now with the AG's office for its thorough review. Nationally, President Trump commemorated Memorial Day at Arlington National Cemetery, calling on Americans to remember those who gave their lives for our country. Now, this comes as he's also calling on Russian President Vladimir Putin to do more to save lives in the Ukraine.
Taps played after President Trump placed a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, a somber annual Memorial Day tradition.
President Trump.
During his remarks at Arlington National Cemetery, the president commemorated the servicemen and women who died in service to their country.
They gave everything, and we owe them everything and much, much more.
Vice President J.D. Vance also reflected on their sacrifice.
The very best way to honor the fallen is to only ask the next generation to make the ultimate sacrifice when they absolutely must. We must be cautious in sending our people to war.
While the president honored Americans lost in battle, he's stepping up criticism of Russian President Vladimir Putin after Russia's largest aerial attack on Ukraine since their war began.
We're in the middle of talking and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Ukrainian officials say more than a dozen people were killed after more than 350 drones struck Ukrainian cities.
He's killing a lot of people. I don't know what's wrong with him. What the hell happened to him, right?
The Kremlin responded to Trump's comments, saying there is a, quote, emotional overload of everyone involved.
Break time, my friends, but the live stream continues right here on KUAM. Please stay with us.
Win one championship, you're celebrated. Win twice, they call you a hero. 3 times, they say words like legend and dynasty. 4, 5, 6 titles, they'll say enough is enough. But when you've won it all 7 times, what's left to say? The trophy speaks for itself. Introducing the full lineup of Ram trucks. Ram, 7-time winner of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Go on a journey to discover true health and wellness. At the Medical City, we bring you expert care, cutting-edge treatments, and personalized wellness programs. From wellness checkups to relaxation retreats, nurture your well-being in a place of healing. Explore the Philippines. Experience the Medical City.
Superspeed your life with Docomo Pacific Fiber Internet. Get symmetrical upload and download speeds up to 5 gigs. Get started with Fiber 500 at $145 a month, Fiber 1 gig at $215 a month, or Fiber 5 gig at $299 a month. Plus, get 2 SuperPod 6Es with any plan, and a free EcoFlow River 3 and bonus welcome kit with 1 gig and 5 gig plans. Experience tomorrow's islands today with Docomo Pacific Fiber Internet.
Welcome back to Primetime right here on KUAM. More than a year after agreeing to pleading guilty, Craig Nauta is set to be sentenced in federal court. Nauta, who admitted to being a felon in possession of a firearm, is scheduled to appear before Judge Francis Tydinko Gatewood at 9:30 on August the 26th. Now, those charges stem from a traffic stop in Sinohania on November 8th of 2023, wherein Nauta was found sitting in a vehicle with defective lights. During a police search, officers discovered drug paraphernalia claimed by the driver, as well as a loaded .22 caliber revolver near Nauta's seat. He reported asked officers to, quote, give him a break. Court documents reveal Nauta has multiple prior felonies, including burglary and assault on a police officer. He was also on parole at the time of the stop. Under the terms of his plea agreement signed this past April, Nauta faces up to 15 years in prison and a $250,000 fine and 3 years supervised release. Yet the government has agreed to recommend a lighter sentence, asking the chief judge to consider the lower end of any sentencing range. Ultimately, the decision rests with Chief Judge Tydinko Gatewood, who is not bound by the recommendations. Well, a man already facing charges in a deadly 2024 shooting is back behind bars, this time in a drug case. 46-year-old Daryl Cundiff, one of the 3 people arrested in connection to the murder of Joshua Taitigui in Talafofo, is now facing fresh charges after a Sunday morning traffic stop. Police say that Cundiff, by way of a magistrate's complaint, was driving without a license and hadn't had a valid one since 2022. When officers searched his vehicle, they found a glass pipe with meth residue. He was out of pretrial release in the Taitigui homicide case, and while he's not accused of pulling the trigger, prosecutors are saying he supplied the gun used in the fatal shooting. That weapon, investigators say, had been hidden in the jungle for years before being passed along. With a prior felony record and new drug charges stacked against him, Cundiff could now face up to 5 years in prison if he is convicted. His Honor Judge Jonathan KUAM has ordered him to be held on $5,000 cash bail. Elsewhere tonight, Brian Taimanglo Munya is back behind bars, accused of damaging vehicles along in PD while already out on felony pretrial release for a case of theft. The 34-year-old was arrested Wednesday after police received a report of a shirtless man denting the hood of a black Toyota Tundra. Security footage helped investigators quickly identify the man as Munya, and as Guam's finest headed to the scene, they learned he had also allegedly thrown a large rock at a dump truck from Hawaiian Rock, traveling south near Assen Beach Park, smashing its windshield. Munya now faces a pair of counts of criminal mischief as third-degree felonies, and because he was already on felony release, those charges carry enhanced penalties, potentially up to 35 years in prison if he's convicted. Judge Sean Brown has ordered Munya to be held on $5,000 cash bail. The Port Authority, in other news, is suing the Guam shipyard and two of its crane barges, YD-120 and YD-223, for the total of $55 million, claiming those vessels were improperly moored ahead of Typhoon Mawar in 2023. When the storm hit on May 24th of that year, the barges broke free, slammed into Gulf Pier, ripped out 15 steel-encased concrete piles, and severely damaged the seaplane ramp. The port says both barges are now inoperable and need extensive repairs or replacement. By way of the lawsuit, the port is alleging that Guam shipyard failed under its legal duty under maritime law to secure the barges properly. It is therefore asking for damages from the shipyard and both vessels' court costs. This comes on the heels of another legal win for the port, as back in March, a federal judge ruled the shipyard had no right to stay on port property after its lease ended, rejecting claims that it had overpaid rent. And from education, 375 Tritons, one island, and infinite impact. This past Sunday, history was made once again at the Spring 2025 commencement ceremony as 375 graduates crossed the stage at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse in Mingilao, matching the largest graduating class the institution of higher learning has ever had. In all, 594 degrees were confirmed this academic year, proving UOG is more than just a university. It's a launching pad for leaders shaping a stronger Pacific. Now, the class also had co-valedictorians, Nicole Pineda and Giselle Garcia, from the College of Natural and Applied Sciences, both earning degrees in biology with a biomedical track. That's not easy. Keynote speaker was President Suringo Whips Jr. of Palau, who reflected on the journey of service and leadership and encouraged the graduates to lead with courage and a deep commitment to their communities.
Today is not the end. It is the beginning of a new chapter. One filled with purpose, promise, and continued learning. Graduates, your education has prepared you to be agents of change, champions of what is good and right. Embrace that role with courage, humility, and a deep sense of responsibility.
And our congratulations to the next generation of change makers, Biba Tritons.
Now for a look at your world at home.
Here's a picturesque beach view captured in Tamuning.
Leaving my phone and bush cutter outside. What's gonna happen? Ooh. Yeah, oh, take it. Come on, bro, it's free. Bro, yo, bro. Bro, just take it.
Looking to ditch your old phone?
Take it.
Trade into Guam's most reliable network and get an extra $300 off the latest phones on any unlimited plan. GTA, we start with you.
Sometimes parenting can be hard. What should I be doing? The Guam Early Learning Council includes partners who can provide you with early childhood services and supports. We are here to assist. For resources and information, simply call 311 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding holidays. Early connection can change everything.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Half a day, everybody. Jason Salas here. I am at the parking garage of the Micronesia Mall. I love car shows, man. Car shows they would happen all the time. And here we are at FX Elites. We have old school builds. We got imports. We've got classic cars. We have builders from all over the island, car enthusiasts. There's something for everybody here, man. This is awesome. You know, I was talking to my buddy Jun. He's the guy who organized this, and he was just saying, you know, he reached out. There's 130 rides here that are being exhibited today. You know, the car enthusiasts. Whoops. You know, the car culture guys. They came out here at 5 in the morning and set up. Yeah, some of these displays are really, really elaborate. Yeah, but they came out here before the sun came up, set up their rides, and they are representing out here. You know, we got a bunch of, you know, like the car clubs, the organizations, and then we have just like enthusiasts who just want to show off their stuff. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Okay, check this out. This is on the, probably like the westmost side. These guys are showing off the suspension. It's not showing off right now, but I guarantee you they were hitting the switches earlier on that one. I want to say this is my favorite right now. We have a hearse, which has been lowered. You have those really nice rims. Okay. Now this is the mother load right here. If you come in what is essentially like here at the Micronesia Mall, this is the service entrance. We got old school music, we got old school cars, man, I love it. All right, right on. Okay, we got a Lexus here. We got a Porsche, that's a Porsche 911. Hey, what's up guys, hop in there, man. Hey, good morning, bro. Okay, we got big trucks, we got small trucks, we got lowriders. I was telling you about like the racing cars, look at those seats. That's a Supra, I believe, yep. Hey, we got content creators here, what's up guys? How's it, man? Okay, 130 cars have all descended over. Hey, we got people selling merch over there. That's totally cool. I'm gonna pick up some. You know, stuff like this, like I said, this used to happen at least once a month, sometimes every single weekend. But it's so great that such an amazing part of Guam's community, bringing it back, getting together, do something positive. You know, there's no chippiness, no silliness. Everybody appreciates everybody else's work. That's the thing I love about this. And you know, whether you are an old school, if you're a designer, if you're a gearhead, if you've got to build, oh, there's a nice Beamer. That is nice. See, look at that. They brought out the very best. They got it detailed. They're polishing the motor and they are showing it off. This is when I like it, when they literally have rolled out the red carpet. And they brought, hey, that championship hardware right there. I don't think John Cena's belt's got it. John Cena, you can't see this, right? This is where it says 671 Street Smart Motorsports. That's what it's all about. I love that paint. The finish on that is amazing. Is this a two-tone? All right, half a day. All right. What's up? All right, this is incredible. The ostrich is here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the, going back to the hearse, because that's too cool. All right, real quick. Okay, we got some OGs here from this scene and everything. Guys, what do you say about like the young people that are getting involved right now and coming out and showing their builds? And what are you guys trying to teach them?
Try to teach them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to learn, but they're joking. But it's nice when they, everybody got their style, everybody's got their, how do you say, keep them busy.
Yeah.
That way they don't wander the backside of it.
Yeah, and everybody's positive. Everybody appreciates each other's work and everything. It's all one big family, right?
All the passion and love.
All right, hey, thanks, guys. All right, so that's what's happening here. FX Elites from the Micronesia Mall. I want to see more of these, man, because these are awesome.
Can somebody please help me judge this chicken?
Juicy, seasoned.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the hair.
Now, who you think made this?
I don't know who cooked it, but they know how to cook.
Boom! Oh, McDonald's! Yes! Are you serious? You don't like Mickey D's? Okay. Guess what? I got something special for y'all. Double dip! Cause that nods mean people who love make crispy strips. How you feeling now? Yeah.
Caught in 4K.
Make crispy strips, man, from Mickey D's. They here for it. Bye.
Bye. I wish they could move back home.
Should we build on a honeymoon?
Yes.
Yes! First Hawaiian Bank knows that family comes first. That's why our bankers work with you to make your what-ifs a reality. Personalized service and digital tools, all under one roof when you bank on the best. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
Being stationed on Guam, there is much to do on the beautiful island. But before you pack, sanitize any household items and leave any organic materials behind to prevent the introduction of invasive species. If it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
New training location confirmed. The Mariana Islands. Before and after training, you will identify and sanitize your tactical gear to prevent the spread of invasive species. If it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Get ready, Guam. It's time to lace up and hit the pavement for a cause that moves us all forward. The Guam Police Department and Manetlu are teaming up to bring you the Committed to Serve Together 5K and 2K run, happening Saturday, June 28th at the Chamorro Village in Hagåtña. It's more than just a race. It's about unity, health, and service coming together as one island community. Proceeds from the run will support youth programs, community outreach, and positive events organized by GPD, making a real difference in the lives of our people. This is about connecting with the community, staying healthy, and showing they're committed to serve together. Whether you're a seasoned runner or just in it for fun, this is your chance to show up, step up, and run with purpose. So mark your calendar. Again, Saturday, June 28th. The Committed to Serve 5K 2K is calling. Let's run for a stronger, healthier Guam. Register now. From now until race day, it's $20 per person or $60 for a group of 4. Showtime is 5 a.m. and go time is 6 a.m. Again, at the Chamorro Village in Hagåtña. For more information, email info@manetlu.org.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Okay, everybody, summertime is here for most of us. And you know what's super cool during the summer? The circus. And you combine them together and you make a circus summer camp. This is the best. Now check this out. We want you to get involved, kids, because this is going to be absolutely amazing. Make sure to participate June 16th to the 27th. It's a Great American Super Circus. It is going to be incredible. Circus summer camp. Learn how to be a circus clown, learn how to be an acrobat, learn some really, really cool things, and make a lot of good friends. And that's what summertime is all about. All right, Spotlight Sessions is coming to you as we roll into the summer season. And we want you to get involved in this event as well because good things happening. It's a cabaret season. Un cabaret, un cabaret, un cabaret. That's about all that song I know, but you can learn a lot more by getting involved with these summer sessions. Hey, cabarets are really, really awesome too. And at Garden to Table, we want you to make smart decisions about what you put on your plate, what you grow in the garden, and what you put into your body, because it's all good for you. And our friends at the Garden to Table project, they've got these 4 amazing types of food. Hey, it already started, right? They're dealing this week with the chaya. Coming up on Thursday is the sweet potato, and then next week is the moringa and the papaya. Make sure to check that out, and make sure to watch News Bites every single night, because we show you cool things to do this summer.
Happy birthday on this Tuesday, the 27th of May, to Emmy Jo Hill. Happy birthday to my girl, 37th. All right, from your mom and your family. Benjamin Espinoza Lopez, happy birthday. Shout out to you. Happy best wishes to you on your 21st birthday. Have a wonderful, blessed birthday and enjoy. Love always, Ma and Grams and Auntie, Uncle, and the family. Thank you, Benji-san, for all that you do. Love for all of your service. And Miles Horton hits the big 1-2, and he did this on May 18th. I know for a fact he had a righteous weekend barbecue with beach volleyball, some amazing barbecue. I saw the short ribs, guys. The pictures you guys put on social media, they were absolutely amazing. He had the works, and we know Miles celebrated 12 the right way with family and friends. And your Nina says, who is particularly proud of you, in addition to your wonderful mom and dad, looking forward to seeing you make even more waves in the coming year. Love you always, Nina. So your family, mom and dad, super, super proud of you. And Miles, we hope you had a fantastic birthday barbecue.
That's the show, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Let's all treat each other with respect. Let's all be good to each other. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Health, Home, and Lifestyle is brought to you by the Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
Hello and Hafa Guam. I'm Jason Salas with KUAM. Welcome to another episode of Health, Home, and Lifestyle, where we show you how to live a healthy and happy island life. Here's what we have for you this week.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Half a day, everybody. We are easing into this week's episode, and I say easing because we're talking about easements. But first of all, Liz and Uncle John are in the Northeast. They're on another amazing trip, seeing the country, seeing property, bringing knowledge back that we can use and to the benefit of the Guam Real Estate Society. So, Liz, where do your travels take you this time?
We were in Myrtle Beach for my grandson's wedding, and then we went up to Virginia, and then we drove up to Cape Cod. We were in Martha's Vineyard yesterday, and now we're in Provincetown. So we're heading back to Virginia tomorrow. So it's been quite an adventure, and I'm going to be attending the the National Association of Realtors meetings.
Very nice. Well, Gina and I are dealing with the island heat this week. So, Gina, it has been quite hot. So as you've done your showings, as you've been to inspections, as we saw a couple weeks ago, I hope you brought some sunscreen and a good umbrella.
Absolutely. Always. It's a permanent fixture in my car, sunscreen and umbrellas.
There you go. Well, easements are kind of permanent fixtures. Is that correct? We're talking about easements this week, Gina. So how permanent are easements, first of all?
They should be forever, perpetual.
You would hope, right? Okay.
You'd want it. You'd demand that.
Okay. When you say the word easements to someone outside the industry, what is typically, what is their facial expression, and what are the questions that they typically ask? Because not knowing the vernacular.
So I'll discuss easements as they relate to homes, because we've actually had a couple of, and easements relate to anything we sell. If it's real estate, it sure as hell should have an easement. But in regards to
is that the textbook definition?
yeah, that is. But if in relationship to us selling homes, we, the first thing we do, I know Liz does the same thing. I do it. We promote the idea that when you take a listing for a home, that number one, you check the title, make sure the individuals that you're working with are the legal title owners of the property. And number two is make sure you order a survey map, or at least get a copy of the recorded survey map that's on the property. On that recorded survey map, you will be able to see the easement that goes to that subject lot, that home. You'll be able to see it on paper. Sometimes it's difficult to identify if the easement on paper like we'll have the map, but to take that map on site, it is not always easy to identify that the easement I'm looking at on paper, that what I'm looking at on the site of the home is what I see on the paper. Sometimes it's not that easy to identify. I'll give you, for instance, like if you have a really old map, and I actually had this case recently where the map was really old. The map was prepared, I think, in the 50s, either 57 or 56. And all you see are 3 square boxes, and you see the easement going up to the 3 square boxes. And then underneath that was the legend with all the coordinates that will tell you, if you plug it, it will tell a surveyor. It didn't tell me anything, but I knew what to look for. It would tell the surveyor, you plug in these coordinates and you should be able to find the property. So when I first took the listing and I saw that map, I said, okay, I've cleared everything. Yes, you are the legal owner. And yes, this is the property. The lot number jives with what you told me on your deed. And I'm here at the house, and you've got an easement. Everything is great. Let's go to the next phase of the discussion of how to sell your home. And so that was it. Everything looked great.
And an easement, Liz, isn't necessarily, I mean, it's not explicitly just a piece of property. It's also a right to access that property, right?
Well, the easement, yes. It usually easements are there in a neighborhood, for example, if there are 5 houses, there's usually an easement that's there to access the individual property. Now, there's a number of different type easements, and you could have a perpetual easement, you could have a legal easement, but even though you have that, do you have physical access to the property? And this is why Gina and I want to bring it up, that people sometimes utilize the neighbor's yard to access their property, and over many years, because they've utilized it, they think, oh, this is my access. This is my legal access. But Gina and I will look at the map, and then we'll see, okay, where's your access to the property? And in some cases, I get a piece of property to sell. Gina and I would physically go and look at the property. If it's a regular neighborhood, not a problem. But if it's a lot somewhere in, let's say, Nimitz Hill or Jotnia or wherever, when we look at the property, we look at the easement. Sometimes there's a drop in elevation and there's no physical access. They do have legal access. However, you can't get to the property.
So if it's like right on the side of a cliff or something.
That's right.
And then everybody knows somebody like that.
Well, one recent sale I had was a property, 20,000 square meters of land, which was really nice, but there was no physical access from the land side of the property. And the only way to get to that piece of property was through a river. So it was landlocked. And even families that have called myself and Gina, they would go to land management and say, I'm landlocked. I have no physical access to the property. And of course, sometimes land management says, well, try to get easement through your neighbor. But that takes a lot of discussion, and maybe legally they could have some legalities involved in trying to get physical access. Sometimes the government cannot step in, but there is a law. You can't be landlocked. But years ago, some of these properties did get landlocked and do not have physical access to their lot.
And does the physical sorry, Gina, does the physical access also, that's in the property's like natural untouched state or as is, right? Like we always mention on the show, like as sold and everything, because people could say, oh, okay, well, if it's down the river, I'll just hop in a canoe or I'll build a bridge that traverses, the tributary or something like that. But what demarcations do you actually have?
Well, Jason, you're mentioning as is, but here's the difficulty. Like in Liz's case, she absolutely knew that when she was selling the property, she absolutely knew that the only way to get to the property was through a helicopter. Where the easement was physically located, it made it so that the only way to actually get to the lot using the easement on the map was you had to get on a boat and use the river, because part of the easement went through the river. So you had to utilize the river with a boat to get to the property, or you can fly in through a helicopter. She knew this because her owners told her this when she was listing the property. The owners knew it and they disclosed it to Liz. Liz knew it and she's actually sold the property. No, and the buyers understood that we're either going to go through the river or we're going to fly in with a helicopter. So that's great. Right, Liz? They knew.
I got to bring up, no, the owners did not know. They thought they had access to the property from the land. And through my investigation, I found like I kept looking at the different maps. I called land management and I would say, hey, this property, we're looking for the legal access to this particular property, but it was all subdivided and other lots adjacent to it did not give legal access to the property. So it was through my research and discovery that I found that there was no physical access except going through the river.
And
so it didn't have legal access either, right, Liz? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was landlocked, and the only access was through the river.
Because then if we're talking about legal interpretations, then you're encroaching on your neighbor's property if you have to like walk across their yard to get to your own property, right?
That's
yeah,
right.
When we say legal access, we're talking about the government, the recorded map for the property has an acknowledged road that takes it from the main highway all the way to where the property is. So you could drive on a physical road and it's a recorded easement to the government. Hey, this is a road and you can use that to get to your property. So Liz's didn't even have one. In my case with this particular home, the easement is recorded on the map. If you go to the subject property, you're going to see that there's a street sign and there's a road that goes to the house. So it has a street name, there's a driveway, goes all the way to the house. So the property was sold. The owner never made mention, oh, by the way, I mean, everything cleared. The title report doesn't show anything abnormal, but there was a survey that was asked for. When the surveyor did the survey to mark the house, he marked the house and then he also said, by the way, the legal easement is not the one you're looking at from the front of the home. It's actually behind it. And I was confused. There's nothing behind this home. It's a 30-foot drop.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Taco Bell brought back crispy chicken nuggets, and I can't believe how good they are.
Why can't you believe it?
Because you're Taco Bell. Taco Bell.
Yeah, but a taco place can do nuggets, right?
Yeah. Mike's Hot Honey Diablo sauce is awesome.
Okay, they're good, but we're not a chicken place.
When did you guys become a chicken place?
Chicken? Can't a taco place do good nuggets? Are we not allowed to do both?
What do you mean?
You think it's cool to do both, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
Are they okay?
I don't think so.
We're totally a taco place that's a chicken place that's also a taco place.
I mean, when I'm standing at the house and I look down, that's quite a long ways to go. So I said, there's nothing behind the home. What do you mean it's behind the home? And he said,
I know at least 6 homes in Nimitz Hill that are just like that. Like, the backyard goes like straight down and that's part of the appeal, but it's also quite challenging.
Well, I mean, this is not an appeal. The easement, you'd have to basically, if you were to use this easement, you'd have to drive in on another street and you'd have to have some kind of pulley system to either lift your car 30 feet up to get to the property, or you just, I don't know how climb the hill to get to the house. So obviously
You can
the
do
legal
rappelling. You can, I mean, I don't know about you guys when you said we got to get there by helicopter. I mean,
not, in this case, it's not a legal easement. So the first thing I did was call the owner. The surveyor has explained to me that your legal easement is on the back side of the house, and, is there a mistake here? And the first thing she said was, oh my gosh, I completely forgot to mention this to you. The driveway to the house, and then, she said, I don't know why the government ever put up a street sign there, but the driveway to the house, we've always had an agreement with our neighbors that we can use basically their property to access our home. In 1958, my parents did sign an agreement with them. Let me send you the document. So, okay, shoot. I mean, we have some other things to clear up at this point, but this is why we're bringing it up. Things like that, they are a big deal. Sometimes you can have neighbory arrangements. My neighbor, my aunt, my uncle, we could have these arrangements to do certain things with our real estate. But those things actually need to be documented in a very particular way. And just having a letter saying, hey, Gina Campos, you could drive through my yard to go home. It's okay. We don't mind. That doesn't quite
cut it.
Take care of it doesn't cut it.
Doesn't cut it. And
yeah.
We do have a lot of families. Let's say there's a big plot, a big family plot, and then they start subdividing. And then uncle lives here, mom lives here, dad lives here. And sometimes in the process, to get to a certain property within the family, they make all these agreements. The problem is once one of those parcels gets sold, they do not have legal access. So as Gina puts it, one of the solutions to that, if it's within a compound and you don't have a legal access to the particular property, you can request for the family members to do a perpetual easement, but everything has to be documented and reflected at land management. Now, some family members don't like the idea of of one property being sold and some stranger moving into next door, and then they try to say you can't pass. But if you have a document that is a perpetual easement, you can't deny that. I think there was one situation right now where one family member wanted to block the road, and there was a document with a perpetual easement recorded at land management, and they were told you cannot block the road because here's a document that states they have the right to pass through your property. And then if they sell the property, even the next buyer has the right to pass through the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it becomes a legal issue, Jason.
Illegal.
Because, once there's already a document in place, I mean, regardless of how that document is worded, that document is still a legit document. And so what we try to avoid is legal confrontation, having to go to court. We always want people to work this out amongst themselves and, as best we can outside of the court system. But if it boils down to that, these families end up in court, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Cooler heads always don't prevail, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, look, final question, ladies, because I think this is interesting. I am a student of linguistics, right? When it comes to the words easement versus pavement, is that just like coincidence, or is that when they say you get to like the pavement part, that is kind of like the separation between two pieces of property?
Two different distinction.
Completely different.
Because I mean, the sidewalk is kind of like the separating line.
So coral road, paved road, two different things from an easement. An easement could be a coral road. It could be a dirt road. It could be gravel. The key there is having legal access to your property, using an easement, whether it's paved, whether it's coral, whether it's dirt or grass. is a distinction, doesn't matter.
Okay, as long as
And
gravel
a
counts too,
pavement-
because I really
and
like those
Jason-
gravel driveways.
But a pavement is just concrete. It's just a
Concrete,
slab of concrete.
Okay, well,
It doesn't guarantee you anything.
okay. Again,
One thing I wanna point out though is when you get, and there were surveyors years ago who would put together a plot map, and the maps will say, here are all the lots subdivided, and then here's an easement. But the problem when they sold those properties, there's a steep drop in elevation, and people were trying to sell it, not knowing that, hey, I don't have access to my property. And a lot of those lots are up at Santa Rita where they were sold, and there's no way you can get to the property.
because it's right on the side of the hillsides, right? Or the foothills.
But you know, Liz, what a great point. Can we just share with the public that if you are subdividing your property, the surveyors prepare that sketch. Can you please ask them to show you where the easements are physically, not on paper, but give you some idea, or at least if the property is so large that they can't show you all the areas of the easement, then have them draw out maybe the topography, because I know Google will allow you to do a base. I mean, it's not spot on topography, but it at least shows you the elevation or the height of one area from another. Have them at least show you that, and ask them, so based on this, can you tell me the easement? Can I drive that entire easement? And they should be able to answer your question. If they can't answer that, go to a different surveyor.
Okay, I just want to say from personal experience, and this is where I'm going to put my reporter hat on, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the folks at like land management have very good topographical like layouts of like the properties and the easements and the demarcations, as we've talked about. You know who actually is doing a lot of really, really impressive work in this space are our friends over at GPA with their GIS group. The geographic information system and everything that they're using is very, very good on like actually getting like elevation, like you said, and having like detailed maps about Guam for that kind of thing.
Well, when Gina and I do listings and we're unfamiliar with the terrain, sometimes we get our engineers to do an aerial, and in the aerial we would ask, notate the elevations, how many feet in elevation. So then we know, can we physically access the property, and is the easement actually within the same elevation? Can they develop the property? Is it usable? Is it unusable? It at least gives us some bearing to work with. If we're going to sell it, it would determine, is it sellable? Is it marketable? Or there's no way to get to it because you need a helicopter.
And
so these are we do research process.
Yeah, speaking of helicopters, the new drones that you can buy, I mean, they're really expensive, but they can actually do geo mapping level 3D imagery and they can detect elevation. I mean, the pictures are phenomenal.
Now, I just want to point out for clarification, when Liz says our engineers, she means her engineer.
He is a very, very good one.
I live with one.
I think one of the best ones, but she really means her engineer.
Well, see, experience does count. And on that note, Liz, we want to wish you and Uncle John a very, very safe trip and have fun as you head back down to Virginia, and blessings to your family on your on the wedding.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week.
You guys.
House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Summer's here, Guam. Get ready for sun-soaked days with Kmart. From beach gear to backyard barbecue essentials, Kmart has it all at prices that keep your wallet cool. Stock up on snacks and fun kids activities to keep them entertained. Kmart is Guam's one-stop shop for summer fun. Plus, military and frontline workers save more with our exclusive discounts every day. Shop now for your summer essentials at Kmart, the 24-hour superstore. Summer vibes, Kmart style.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Guam's beauty is only surpassed by its hospitality. Please help protect it by not bringing any items that can have a harmful impact on the island. Remember, if it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
New training location confirmed. The Mariana Islands. Before and after training, you will identify and sanitize your tactical gear to prevent the spread of invasive species. If it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Clara Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. Today, I am here with Trina Borja, who has been in early childhood development for almost 20 years. Half a day, Trina.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I did also want to mention, not only were you in the field for almost 20 years, but you've also been a mom, a single mom, for about the same amount of time, right? 17 years. So. Yes. I thought it was, you just had just as much, if not more, credibility to speak on the topic. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, it's Women's Health Month, it's also Children's Mental Health Awareness Month. Why do you feel it's important that we zero in on children's mental health?
Well, these days, let me clarify. The almost 20 years in early childhood and the almost 20 years being a single mom did not overlap. So I was close to 20 years in early childhood, child care development, child care training, that type of thing, and then had children, and then was...
Then it applied.
Exactly.
Did you find that having that background helped you?
Learning everything the way that I did for the early childhood and the courses, and then working in child care with ages birth to 12 years gave me a lot of experience. But truthfully, being a parent is completely different than when you're caring for other people's children, and the things that you have to do to ensure their safety in all facets, especially in childcare and especially as they get to school age, because that's a lot more complicated than preschool years. I worked quite a bit with children with autism and Asperger's. It's very difficult when the children are so much older, in diapers, and very mentally.
So you say back in the day, does that no longer apply?
It would apply if I was in the field still.
Oh, got it.
So back in the day for me would have been my experience. I'm very sure that it still does apply, and it's very complicated. It's so much more intense to work with anybody with disabilities when the parents either are or even are not aware of how to take care of their own children with whatever their special need may be. And so it's really about a lot of patience, and that should be for anything, honestly. As a single mom, that was definitely a lot of patience, a lot of understanding where is your specific child or that specific child coming from in terms of any behavior that they might be acting out on, for any reason at all. And it's about communicating with them the best way for them, not for us. Because I've had to change my ways a lot of times.
So catering to their needs.
Yes. I mean, even just for my two children, they're very, very different. But then when you see a lot of children out in the field who are very, very different, you have to cater to what they're going to be able to understand and what they're going to be able to handle in terms of communication and stability in whatever environment they're in.
How are you able to basically teach in that environment with such a wide variety of...
Oh, that's a good question. These days, and I learn from a lot of people that I talk to that are in all different types of fields, the teaching field, education, early childhood, middle school, high school, etc. It's again really about trying to understand where they come from. Why are they acting out? What are they doing to act out? Are they just spewing bad words? Are they trying to fight you? Are they just talking back? And it's really just getting down to their level again, talking to them about what transpired, why did this happen? If there was an incident that happened, and let's say they got in trouble for, I don't know, punching someone, I would say, okay, you did this, that's not okay. What happened right before you did that.
Yeah.
Because then it will come down to, well,
understanding
I
the
don't
root.
want to say, you know, they kicked me or they did whatever. Get to the bottom of exactly why they did what they did, and then go backwards a little bit and try to see how that scenario came to be, because they could be getting possibly bullied or teased or whatever, and it just led to something that made them angry.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for part 2 of the series.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
Pizza Hut is about to hook you up with more of what you love. Because when you order any pizza, we'll hook you up with a free pizza later. That's a pizza now and a free pizza later. Get even more with the Hut Hookup. Order now only on the Pizza Hut app. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Win one championship, you're celebrated. Win twice, they call you a hero. 3 times, they say words like legend and dynasty. 4, 5, 6 titles, they'll say enough is enough. But when you've won it all 7 times, what's left to say? The trophy speaks for itself. Introducing the full lineup of Ram trucks. Ram, 7-time winner of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Yeah, I haven't seen score changes like this ever, and that's exciting.
Dr. Camille Hoffman is feeling hopeful about a potential new treatment for postpartum depression. It's something 1 in 8 women will deal with in the year after giving birth.
So there's hardly any patient that I see in a day that doesn't have some kind of risk factor for it. It's super common.
Dr. Hoffman, a maternal fetal medicine physician at CU Anschutz, just wrapped up phase 2 of a study on whether a new medication could combat postpartum depression. It's called RE104, a pharmaceutical version of psilocybin, more commonly known as magic mushrooms.
These types of interventions can help the brain kind of create new neural pathways that are more positive and can be transformative in that way. It definitely isn't a scenario where we're like, okay, here's your dose, now go off about your day. I mean, the enrollment criteria were very strict.
In a study, new moms with postpartum depression were injected with a journey-level dose of the drug, donning eye masks and headphones with music while their health was monitored closely.
It didn't all look pleasant. It looked like a journey where people were seeing and confronting things that were anxiety-provoking or raised fear in them, but then you'd kind of see that ebb and flow. And usually they would walk out of our center pretty calm.
Hoffman says the drop in depression for moms was noticeable in the hours and weeks after that dose.
I could hear a change in their voice, you know, their tone, and they would seem more lifted. It seemed kind of magical a lot of the time. Sometimes surprising in how quickly you would see the transformation.
Hoffman says while there's still more to study, what she's seeing so far is giving her hope that a fast, effective treatment for postpartum depression could be possible. She says mushrooms could indeed be magic.
I know, they do seem like the magic bullet.
That's going to do it for Health, Home, and Lifestyle this week, everybody. Please be safe and live healthy.